My name is Mr. Ilaka, and I am here to fill in for Minamite. In fact, I will be commencing this episode because these tough times has forced us fathers to come in and also join the YouTube global.
So listen, I used to have this character. His name was Mr. Wanjala. Mr. Wanjala was more of like, what I am trying to talk about here is that when you take a solid, so I used to think of bringing this other character who matches him, right? So it was like Mr. Minor.
I recently came from China and the government did not get me because that's how we were going through the thickets of remove. We came via the stop, and so that's why we are here. We did not quarantine for 14 days.
I miss those days. Anyway, where? I just on the video. There's no one I talk to. Nile tu. Unajua the way they do BTS. So, just nikuja hapo nianzishe video. What up, guys? Welcome to Mind, a place where no mind is too minor. Come on, if you're new, if you don't understand, it's because my name is Minor, and then there's the minor aspect. So if you put them together, I don't know why I keep explaining, because by the time I'm finishing explaining, it sounds like it's too obvious. Anyway, allow me to thank you for being such an amazing audience. Yani, you guys, you don't stop coming here, and every time you come here, kuna kwanga na subscriber to tatu hivi. I've been looking at one of my favorite YouTubers, Abel Motua. Yani umse anaendanga na 10k subscribers each time, 10k. Lakini for us, we have been having, tunakwanga na kawiki, we go like 5 subscribers. It's growth. For me, I know it's growth. And that's how it starts. And for me, I want to thank you as an audience, because hata mimi I can say, wakurugenzi, 5 more subscribers a week. Today, I want to talk about something very interesting. How to achieve your dreams. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere close to achieving my dreams, but there are ways that you can input, and like I say, it's a journey. There are things that you can input that will help you get there. Because here's the thing, we all have dreams. Like, you cannot deny that at some point, even the most oppressed person, I'm using that word very carefully, like even the person who feels like they're most disadvantaged, they have wild dreams and they have big dreams. However, there's only a few % of people who get to achieve them. So why is that? On this video, I'll tell you why. Not why a few people achieve them, but how you can join. That was closed. I was about to change the video because I would have ended up explaining why this 1% achieves their dreams and not how you can achieve. You see the trick. He's in my YouTubing. That's why we need to script these things. I have my book here, it guides me. So it's how you can achieve. So if that sounds interesting, let's dive in, shall we? Number 1, have a dream. Ati unataka ni explain? Ati have a dream, you want me to start explaining it? It is only fair if I mention it, because kuna watu antenna zinakuanga hivi completely isolated. So it's just fair I mention, because like I said, common sense is not common to everyone. Otherwise, mi nangoja tu hapo subscribe and comment how the video is so far before we move on to the next point. So remember, the first point, have a dream. We cannot start a journey of pursuing the dream while you don't even know your dreams. So grab a blanket, grab a sleeping bag, and get busy. But actually, you'll be getting calmer because you have to sleep peaceful. You see, that's why I don't like explaining these things, because they make me look dumber, and I'm not the one without the common sense. Not that you're the one without them, but you get my point. Get my point. Number 2, visualize. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Albert Einstein mwenyewe ndio alisema hiyo. Albert Einstein, I'll put his picture here. Albert Einstein, the legend himself. I always say that phrase a lot, but I'm still trying to comprehend it to date. But I hopefully by the time I finish this point, utakuwa nimeelewa. So there's this story that is given of this guy who was called into a lab, and he was told, and this guy used to love puppies a lot. So they wanted to test part of his brain that used to light up when he's happy. Like that part of the brain. So what they did is that they put him in a lab. They put him on a bed, put something on his head, and then they brought in a dog, right? Like a puppy. And he saw the dog, and immediately that part of the brain just lit up, started glowing, right? Because they could see through this machine. Again, glow literally. Nonsense. But then they told him now to imagine. So they took away the puppy out of the house, out of the room, and they told him to simply imagine seeing a puppy. And the same thing happened. The same part of his brain lit up when he imagined, right? But that was not all. Apparently, this guy also used to get excited when he sees girls with swimsuits. So they repeated the same process. They told him to close his eyes on the second they brought in the kagal with the swimsuit. Told him to close his eyes to test the part of the brain again and let you imagine how the scenario played out, especially that part of excitement. I'm doing this with my hands. But anyway, there was no part of that girl with a swimsuit. Hiyo tu nimeongeza because of unajua comedy is a very critical part of this skit, so lazima we improvise. But here's the point. That just proves how strong imagination is, or how powerful imagination is. Because I can tell even right now, unaona ako kadema, hata wewe unakaona. You don't want to say it, but you know unakaona. Breathe. Puppy. But think about it. Anything that has been made by man, right? Let's just say anything that is man-made. Anything. It started as an imagination in the head, or an idea in the head. Like there was a blueprint in the mind before it was brought into fruition. And that's the thing about dreams. First of all, you have that big dream that you can see. Like you can visualize it and you can see yourself, whether it's driving that car, whether it's performing on stage, whether it's speaking in front of people. Like you can see yourself doing exactly that. And this is what happened. Someone once told me that if you imagine yourself as a CEO, you start playing the part. Exactly with dreams. Like when you start visualizing them, then you start playing that part. When I talk about this, I'm trying to think about the guy who maybe invented the toilet seat. Mwenye invent toilet seat. You can imagine the boy had a dream, siku moja I'll be making a toilet where people will be sitting on. But I have to give it to the guy. Your imagination ilikuwa accurate, because you can imagine even the circumference. To even get that circumference, the measurements of the circumference, they are always quite precise. But it's also weird when you start thinking someone else imagining your butt surface area. It's quite disturbing. But that's what dreams can do. That's what dreams can do, I'm telling you. Dreams, they can go to the weirdest of places. I'm telling you, that's what dreams can do. Number 3, double thinking. A very interesting story is told about this director. Right? So the director, he used to make blockbuster movies. Yani movies inaenda kwa theater and they hit it all in Hollywood, and all his movies were that good. So one time he was asked by this guy, some random guy, how comes your movies are so good? How comes your movies are making it everywhere they go? And the director answered it profoundly. So he said, every time I write a movie, I first write the ending, and then I come back to where I am, the beginning, and then write that story towards the ending. I already have the ending in mind, right? So I'll come back where I am at the start. I'm at the beginning, right? And then write that story towards the ending. Let's bring it back home here to our guy who is creating this toilet seat. I don't know why I'm saying back home. I think I've already, that imagination and I are already mutual, because it sounds very familiar. I don't know why. So let's bring it to this guy who's making this toilet seat. So imagine, this guy had to imagine that innovative idea of a toilet seat. You can see the toilet seat. So he saw it in imagination, and then he brought it back home. How are guys doing their business now? Okay, they might be squatting or they might be using flying toilets. If you don't know what that is, don't ask me. Don't ask me, because if you haven't witnessed or experienced, you are lucky. You are a lucky child, 21st century children. Okay, even me, I'm a 21st century child. I'm just trying to add the dramatic effect. Again, comedy here is very key. Comedy, it's very key. This guy brings it back. And so he begins, okay, how are people doing it right now? How can we make it more comfortable for these people? So he's like, okay, fine, these people can do it while sitting, right? So he creates a scenario where you just relax, sit back, and download. Unless, of course, you ate mahindi choma na ndoma and you forgot to add some fiber content hapo. You'll have to grab onto something and use some energy, because the let me just let it to your imagination, because you see, this is the good thing with this topic. Imagination is very key. So I just have to mention some things and then your imagination takes it on. But here's the thing. For the longest time, society has taught us that, we are encouraged, visualize your dream. And that's okay. In fact, that was our point number 2. Like, you have to visualize your dream, you have to see it. But they always leave out a critical part of that aspect. The aspect of retracing your dreams. Like, we have that vision, we have that dream, we have that goal. How are we going to retrace it back to where we are? That is exactly why this idea of visualization only is killing us, because people are like, okay, fine, I have this dream, I'll be a writer, but right now, at a blog, hauna, I'll be a radio presenter, at a podcast, hauna. I'm mentioning the things I have. If you have noticed, so I'll link up. But that's the thing, like, you visualize, but what are the steps you're taking towards that right now? So that's where the aspect of double thinking comes in, whereby you think about the dream, that's beautiful, but you retrace it to where you are right now. How are you living right now to make sure that you go towards that dream? Like that guy who successfully made that toilet seat. I will say, by the way, that thing in Anishangaza, I feel like Googling right now. Because, a thought just came into my head, and sorry for these explicit images. Can you imagine how you used to do test practicals? Like to test whether the toilet was working, because you needed a specimen. And of course, the specimen is the one who will be using it. And of course, they have to commence their natural order. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the test practicals of that thing? Number 4, write it down. Do you remember those times when you used to write love letters in high school? Okay, no, you don't. And true to that, I don't blame you. It's not that even I'm old. It's just that back then, high school, wengine wetu hatukuwa na smartphones. So we used to use love letters tukikatia madem. Because everyone else had smartphones. So we used to use love letters as an excuse that I'm being romantic. And kumbe ni devices hatuna. When our counterparts or fellow comrades were just getting girls via DMs as we were perfuming our letters. Unaandika hapo mbele, open with a banana smile. Those were tough times. But I used to remember, I used to write like nice letters, and I would make them romantic, especially on birthdays. And I remember one time writing to this girl and, just describing to her what will happen, how we will just, escape to the wild after high school and run along chasing the sunset, and how she was my princess and I was her frog. Okay, also that time I was watching a lot of Disney cartoons. So there's this cartoon of a princess kissing a frog. So I was just I thought it would be ironic romanticism because, he's a frog, an ugly thing, yet it's beautiful inside. When I say write it down, I simply mean this. Right now, you've visualized your dreams, right? We have the two-way thinking. I like to call it double thinking, but it's more of like a two-way thinking, where we are thinking from the end and thinking from the start towards the end, right? And that's a beautiful thing. It's now time for you to write it down. And I say this with so much seriousness because writing it down means you are forming this binding agreement with yourself. Like, this is an agreement with yourself that will hold you accountable. You see, the things I used to write to that girlfriend at that time, like I would take her out for lunch. To some extent, I did it. Like, I took her to the canteen. So, my parent might watch this. Nilikuwa napewa pocket money. I save and then I take her out. I miss those days. You hold yourself accountable because this is a written agreement that is binding you. Come when I sign contract, you'll understand what I'm saying. And here's the beauty about writing down. It's not just merely writing about the dream. It's now you write about the plan, right? You write about the time frame and you write about the goal itself. So here's how you do it. Write down the dream, stroke goal, right? Dream is to write down the plan. How are we gonna go through that goal? Because we have already double thought our idea. Double thought. Hey, I always fear using this past tense. Double thinking. That's not funny. You've already double thought your strategy. So right now, write down those plans. How do we achieve it? And then write down a time frame. It doesn't hurt. Let me tell you something. You'd rather do these things. What if it doesn't happen? No, you'd rather do it and it doesn't happen than not do it and it doesn't happen. Again, forgive me again for this, but it makes me think of the guy again who invented the toilet seat. And I can just imagine the things that used to be in his notebook, man. Unaweza imagine mtu yani amechoka, because you have to draw the toilet and like an illustration of a guy sitting down. This guy maybe was a father, so you can imagine his children going through his two notebooks and the plan and the time frame and how the seat will be used and the strategic position of the rear end of a human being. Like I said, this guy, umse wa toilets, tu umse tu. I like to salute him. Umse alikuwa na moyo. And finally, number 5, put in the action. Now, imagine we have a dream, right? Imagine we've already imagined. Imagine we've already visualized, right? We've already double thought it, right? We've already written it down and we have come up with a plan. Surely, what else should we be doing next? Surely, surely, what should we be doing? Okay, fine. Prayer and faith are important, but even faith without action is dead. But these are some of the conversations I have in my head when I'm debating. So, pause as if I'm asking you. I'm just having the debate in my head, so I thought I should share because you might resonate. Unless, again, you're an atheist, because your point, your prayer and faith. Now makes things awkward. Dreams without a plan and a plan without action is just merely dreams. Like even the plan won't work because you're not going through the plan. So nothing will work. Anyone can be great for a minute, but the true masters of life are the ones who have longevity. If you can maintain the discipline, if you can maintain the consistency, right? If you can, I know I'm contradicting myself because this channel hatukuangi consistent na episodes. Please forgive me. Let's put that aside. But my point is, if you can maintain the consistency, if you can just push on, if you can just be disciplined, if you can just apply what you need to apply, if you can get all distractions away, I promise you, and you can hold me accountable with these words, you will achieve your dreams. That's it for me, and I'm so happy to have brought this to you, and I'm hoping that you enjoyed it. Niliva shati leo. I wanted to come here and impress you because it's a serious matter that we're talking about, no jokes. But you have to admit, that guy who creates toilet seats, that guy should be given a golden medal. Golden medal. Until next time, guys, remember, subscribe, like, smash that like button kaweni kikevu ama brayo, smash it. But wewe unaweza itap if you're not, if you need tutors. Kata hiyo part, kata nachoka. My name is